What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Monday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault, here on Betting Pros. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sports Talk Matt, Betting Pros on Twitter at Betting Pros. BetMGM, the telesponsor of this great pod. You guys can check it on the YouTube video on Betting Pros' YouTube. $10 bet to win $150 when you sign up for a new account with the promo code JUICE150. Okay, so little 2-1, 3-1. Little 5-2 spurt there on the weekend, so can't wave a stick at that. We'll take that every time. So let's continue with the NBA plays here for today. We've got two of them. I don't know what to do with the other. There's three games today. Philly, man, -7.5 to -7. The number keeps on falling. I might get involved with Philadelphia, but I don't know. I don't want to lay 7. 7's a lot. It's more than 2 possessions. I feel like we got to wait a little bit, and maybe it's a better in-game opportunity. Let Toronto get out to a quick start. Let the live number come down to like 1, 2, 3, somewhere in that range, 1 possession, and then take Philadelphia. I do think they win the game. You might say, well, Matt, just bet money line. It's too big at the moment. It's too much juice to bet it pre-flop. So I'm going to pass on that game. I do have a bet on the other two, and I've got our first 2 NFL draft pick bets to give you. Reminder on the draft, okay? The draft is fun. The draft is quarter units. The draft is entertaining, okay? It's not a sporting event. Just heads up on that, okay? Just heads up, all right? So quickly before we get to the picks, let me tell you about our friends at Sleeper. Sleeper is the fastest growing fantasy platform today. Millions of players. You may have a league already. Game-changing product, unlike anything else in the industry. And now you could win on Sleeper by playing their new over-under game. It's super simple. Any sport, choose 2 or more players that you like. Pick the over or the under. For example, points in basketball, hits baseball, choose the amount of money you want to bet in the contest. If you pick correctly, you can win anywhere from 2 times to 20 times your money you put in. It's very cool. You can play against friends. Stop what you're doing. Download Sleeper and play their new over-under game right now. Make some money, play with your friends, and when you do so, use that promo code DailyJuice. It's one word, Daily Juice. Sleeper will match your deposit of up to $100. Download Sleeper, promo code DailyJuice, one word, then you deposit. When you deposit, terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Okay, so let's start here with the game that's going to be, I don't know, I'm wearing the hat for the game for that very reason. It's the Boston Celtics at Brooklyn, up 3-0. Boston here going for a closeout. Okay, numbers right now, number is -1 for Brooklyn. Boston's plus 105 on the money line. I mean, you can lay the 1 point if you want, but this is basically a pick'em game. So Boston on the year is 26-15-1 ATS. Due to Kyrie being out, you've got a 9-33-1 ATS record for Brooklyn. But Boston's been just tremendous in this series. They have won all 3 games. They've covered the last 2, covered by 10 points in game 3, by 4 points in game 2. Yes, I do think Brooklyn's going to come out and play really physical, and maybe you take the Nets in the first quarter. Kevin Durant can't go out like this. I mean, the offseason will be brutal, but they were going to play Ben Simmons. And then Ben Simmons somehow woke up with back spasms. It's a pretty good indication in my mind as to what the team thinks is going to happen and what they're feeling. I think Brooklyn's got their bags packed. I think Boston smells blood in the water. I think Boston doesn't want to play around here. End it tonight. Get it over with. Get rid of Brooklyn. Sweep them out. Boston's got the hunger, the anger, and the intensity to do it on the road. And my goodness gracious, there were so many Celtics fans in Brooklyn for game 3. I can only imagine what game 4 is going to be like, as Net fans are going to give up their tickets like crazy. And Boston fans around the region, it is a simple drive to Brooklyn to go to this game, okay? It is not hard. If you're in Rhode Island, southern Massachusetts, if you're in Connecticut, not hard to get to New York and to get to Brooklyn in like 2.5 hours. It is not hard to get down there, and you can get tickets on the cheap to watch Kyrie get swept. Are you kidding me? This is a chef's kiss of a mwah moment for the Boston Celtics to do this to Kyrie Irving, the biggest villain in Boston sports since A-Rod, and Boston can do this to him. I'm wearing the color of the hat for a reason. Boston, money line, plus 105, half a unit to end the Brooklyn Nets season. Bet number 2, Jazz and the Mavericks. I'm going to be a little bit predictable here. Luka back, by the way, is good for the under. I'm actually excited. Luka comes back. What happens? Boom. Game goes under by 15.5 points with Luka on the court. They play slower with Luka on the court. It's just how Dallas plays. It's kind of a weird thing. Without Luka, first game went under. Second game flew over. Third game really went over. 36.5 points. We were on the third game 1 under. Game 2 under, that was wrong. Game 3 over, got that right. Came back with the game 4 under, that hit by 15.5 points. I'm not going to buck a trend here. At home, Dallas on the year at home, 30, 12, and 1 to the under. Utah on the road, 25, 17, and 1 to the under. And we've got Western Conference marks for Dallas, 33, 22, and 1. And we've got Western Conference numbers of 29, 26, and 1 to the over for Utah. That's one negative stat for us. But I just think with Luka on the court, it's a pivotal game 5. 2, it's tied at 2. Total is 213. We're going under 213 here. The books are searching for a number. First game was 208 under, 206.5 over, 207.5 over, 214.5 under, and it would have gone under 200. Now we're at 213 here. Utah, Dallas, half a unit. Going back to our old standby here. Dallas at home, under 213 for a half a unit. Okay. NFL draft talk. The draft is here in Vegas, all right? So just a heads up, I am working like crazy this week. I've got a variety of things going on. I got a bunch of questions about where I'm going to be and what I'm doing and when am I doing the juice. I'm covering the draft on Thursday, okay? So let's talk about who goes number 1. And this is a really interesting conversation because there are a lot of people who do not believe that Hutchinson out of Michigan is going number 1. Aiden Hutchinson right now, minus 200 to go first, okay? There's real value on betting him over 1.5. If he goes 2 to Detroit, which makes perfect sense for a Michigan kid to wind up going to Detroit, and it makes perfect sense for the Jaguars to take an SEC caliber in Trayvon Walker, excuse me. If you take just the geography of it, okay, to have Walker go 1 and to have Hutchinson go 2, geographically makes sense. Talent-wise, how big of a difference is there between the two? Some say there's not that big of a difference. They're both elite pass rushers. They're both going to make a ton of money in their careers. They're both going to be staple guys who get after the passer in insane ways. I mean, look, I understand you can shop around and you can find some different odds here, but we've seen Hutchinson be as high as minus 350 to go number 1. Odds are coming down. Okay? Can you see Walker going number 1? Because I can. And Georgia Star, tons of Georgia fans in Jacksonville. Makes a lot of sense in SEC country. Georgia plays there every year in Jacksonville for what they used to call the greatest outdoor cocktail party. You take a quarter unit and you take Walker to be taken number 1, okay? You take Walker to be taken first overall in the draft. It's a plus money bet. DraftKings has this at plus 190. Walker number 1 is plus 190. Hutchinson, minus 200. Let's go quarter unit on Walker to go number 1 overall in the draft to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Hutchinson over 1.5 draft positions because Detroit might trade the pick. The other thing is Detroit might say we like Hutchinson. If he's there at 2, they may trade out to go to 4 or 5, and Hutchinson falls a little bit because he probably would be there. So that's a question as to what the Lions look to do with the pick. But you got plus 160 on Hutchinson, okay? It's a half a unit total. quarter unit on plus 190, Trayvon Walker to go number 1 overall, and number 2, Hutchinson to go over 1.5 draft position. Clearly, if Hutchinson goes first, we lose a half a unit, okay? But again, this is the draft, okay? If you want to just bet a half a unit on Hutchinson to go over 1.5, you can do that as well. You'll return a little more money by doing it this way, by making 2 bets versus 1. So I kind of like that, but if you want to go ahead and have Walker be number 1, like I am, quarter unit, Walker goes number 1 at plus 190. Quarter unit on Hutchinson over 1.5 draft positions. Both those odds can be found at DraftKings today. Shop around, find the best odds on this to jump in on it. We'll take the DraftKings number because it's available for most of you guys here. We'll go over 1.5 Hutchinson plus 160. Walker number 1 overall to Jacksonville at plus 190. 2 bets for the NFL draft. I will have more, okay? We'll have quarterbacks. We'll do more, but those numbers I want to jump in just in case something breaks on Monday and the teams, because it's draft week, the teams start to let things leak or somebody breaks and say number 1 pick will be. I don't want to blow it, okay? Get in now. We could lose it as well. If if Jacksonville comes out and says we're taking Hutchinson, well, then we're done. We've lost both bets, but that's why we're going quarter unit. Small. Okay, so today, Boston Celtics, money line, plus 105 to win and sweep out the Brooklyn Nets. Under 213, Dallas and Utah. Live bet coming for Philadelphia and Toronto at some point in the very near future. We'll get involved with that coming up, but let's keep the good times rolling. 3-1, 2-1. Let's have a good Monday here today. Hutchinson over 1.5 draft position at plus 190. Walker to go number 1. Sorry, at plus 160. Walker to go number 1 at plus 190 for our plays on a Monday. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.